It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your gun, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal with your host, Mike Adams, and his son, the other Mike Adams. They're locked, loaded, and ready for another exciting episode. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
Hey, everybody. We're back for another action-packed week of the Up North Journal. And got the little Jake with me in studio tonight, along with Big Mike here. Of course, yeah. Sitting back chilling again with the do-rag on, huh?
Yeah, you finally got one.
Yeah, I did. I cheated. I got one.
Yeah.
I'd like to remind everybody we are part of the Outdoor Radio Network. And you can go over there and check out some other podcasts, outdoor-type podcasts. And you can also find us on iTunes and subscribe there if you'd like. Or you can go to our website, www.upnorthjournal.com, and follow the links to our podcast site and subscribe there. And I'd like to welcome everybody that's from myoutdoortv.com also. Thanks for checking it out. So cruise over to one of those two sites and sign up. So what's going on, Mike?
Trying to get burnt flavor taste out of my mouth.
Yeah, what happened?
I overcooked some duck.
Yeah, Well, last week when we were getting ready for the show, we told everybody we was cooking a little bit of deer meat. And actually, that's kind of where we left the show. We signed off and we went and ate dinner.
That was good.
It was. What do you think, Jake? You were there last week. After we got done with the show, we eat that deer. What did you think about it?
That was good.
You like that?
Me and him cooked that one.
How many times did you come back for seconds and thirds and fourths? You keep coming back till it was all gone, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like deer meat?
Yep.
What about the duck?
That was good, too.
You like that? Well, we tried, actually, not we, but Michael cooked his recipe up last week.
And it was good the first time.
Yeah, the duck stuff was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it, and first time I'd ever had duck.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to expect, and it was really tasty. But what happened tonight?
I overcooked it.
Oh, what do you mean you overcooked it?
I think I cooked it. I cut it in smaller pieces.
So it cooked faster?
Yeah.
Got away from you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a little crispy on the outside.
Yeah, we still ate it, though. But it was...
It was kind of soft on the inside.
Yeah, it wasn't burnt, but it wasn't what you would call tender either. But, you know, we ate it. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best either, huh? Okay. Enough said about the duck, okay?
Yeah.
And the thing was, that's the last duck we had from last year, too.
Yeah.
So...
kind of stinks.
Waterfowl season's going to open up here in Michigan in about 2 weeks, so I guess we'll just, at least goose season. Duck season didn't open until, actually for you guys, it'll open up, waterfowl season opens up, I think, the third weekend in September here in Michigan, so at least you kids will get to get out and maybe get a few put in the freezer here before
Youth
too long.
weekend, youth is before, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always third weekend in September, so yeah, we'll check it out and see what happens, let you get out, maybe we can put a few in the freezer and let you try again. See what you can come up with. So
yeah, we need to move to a different spot from the lake that we hunt on.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll just have to play it by ear. That's your job to get out and do a little scouting, I guess.
You can take the boat over there.
So, well, that was dinner last week, and it was dinner this week. So, moving on to bigger, better, and other things. The week was kind of slow, really. We didn't do a lot. We did a lot of work during the week, so we didn't get out a whole lot. We didn't really get cranked up until Saturday. And Saturday morning, we got together with a friend of ours, Matt Woodbury, from up at Compass Outdoors up at the bow range we shoot at. It was his birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday to Matt, everybody.
Happy birthday.
But his birthday present, we went to breakfast with him that morning. We went out to Flint Bowman's archery range club, whatever you call it, and they had a fun shoot out there, 3D archery range. Or archery.
30 target course, I think.
Yeah, had a course out there. So.
And they had a whole bunch of fun shoots at the end.
Yeah.
Like trick shots.
We went out there and hung out and got out there and shot the course and everything. And, man, I started off bad. I don't know what happened. But
didn't you completely miss the first two targets?
First two targets I missed. Well, the first target was a all-or-nothing target. It was a William Tell shoot. It was an apple.
Yeah.
And I shot maybe a half-inch over the apple. I mean, it just skimmed it, so...
I split the stem.
You split the stem on it?
Yeah,
you hit it. So, but I didn't. And so that cost me 20 points. You got it right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then the next target, I don't know what happened. I either misjudged the distance or something. I don't know. I shot under the deer target, and that cost me 20. So I'm in the hole already, 40 points right off the bat. And then we get, I don't know, 3 or 4 targets later. It was our first elevated one off an elevated stand, and I misjudged the distance again. And so I missed 3 targets out of 30.
Yeah.
So I took zeros on those. But the rest of them I did pretty well. Picked it up a little bit. I think out of 600 points I scored a 440 eventually. So
I think I scored a
452. Yeah, you beat me. I can't live that down either. So
it's okay.
But what'd you miss? 1 target the whole day?
No, I didn't miss any.
You didn't miss any? Jake, how many did you miss?
I think 1.
You missed 1 target, I think, too, didn't you? It was
the lowest score I got. I think I got 2 4s.
Yeah.
2 or 3 4s.
Yeah, I got a couple 4s. Jake, he had a handful of 4s.
I had lots of 16s.
What did you think about that was your first 3D shoot? Actually, it was mine, too. That was my very first time out shooting a 3D.
It was my second.
3D course. Yeah, it was your second time, so you kind of knew what to expect. What did you think about it, Jake?
That was pretty cool about all those special courses. Like they had a Candyland one.
Yeah, they were all themed. Every one of them had a theme about them. And the people at the archery range, they'd set it up and they'd put little different things like they had one called a pumpkin patch, and they had a deer standing in they had little tiny pumpkins cut out.
And they had like a pumpkin thing for the Halloween thing put over its head.
Yeah. So, and that was actually the one that I missed. One of the ones I missed.
Actually, that was based on that story. Do you remember that story we reported on here?
Yeah,
a long time ago.
Was it last year? Yeah, last year's story. Yeah, where the deer run around with a pumpkin bucket on its head. Yeah, right after Halloween, or maybe it was right before Halloween. It was like a candy bucket, orange bucket, and he had it on his nose.
Yeah.
And the strap actually went over his antlers. This little tiny buck. How that happened, I don't know, but I guess they eventually. I don't know how, but it came off or what have you. But whoever was seeing the deer on a regular basis finally saw that it had actually worked its way loose. So it's amazing the thing didn't starve to death or something, But it probably ran around here for, I don't know, a week or so or better maybe with that thing on its head. So what was your favorite one, Jake?
The one towards the end where it was like kind of like a long cave and there's like a giant grizzly and there's a baby.
Yeah, it was like a mine shaft. They had a long tunnel made with pallets,
black tarp,
and they had black visqueen over top of it, and little tiny holes poked in it, so it had a little bit of light, but very little. And it was called a mine shaft. And there was a baby doll down there at the bottom. There was a grizzly bear acting like it was going to eat it, and you had to shoot the grizzly. That was pretty cool.
It was a huge grizzly.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I like how they put red paint in its mouth.
Yeah. So, what was your favorite one?
Actually, I had 2. Probably my first favorite was there was a 30-yard shot in an elk.
That was my favorite shot.
Yeah, and there was like a little ground blind you had to sit in.
Uh-huh.
And my second favorite one was there was a grizzly bear dressed up like Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the Jack Link's beef jerky thing in his hand.
That was funny.
Like the commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess with Sasquatch. And messing with Sasquatch. That was pretty good. I like the elk one, though, too, because, realistically, it was probably the most realistic one to a hunting scene that you would encounter.
Yeah.
And basically you got into a ground-covered blind, where they made with brush and bushes and things like that, and they had a little small opening. You had to sit on 2 milk crates. It was a sitting shot, and it was 30 yards to a broadside elk.
Actually, I misjudged it. I thought it was like 20 or 15.
What did you wind up scoring on that?
I got a 4.
4, yeah.
I hit right at the joint where right, not like its belly, but like right at his armpit.
Okay.
I almost missed it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a 15-yard shot, so I aimed low.
Yeah.
It's a 30-yard shot.
I knew that shot was a lot longer. I'll tell you, and what's really deceiving on that shot is because the animal is so big. I mean, it was a life-size elk target.
I think I got a 16 on it.
Yeah.
16 or 20.
Yeah, I scored either a 16 or a 20 on it, too. I can't remember. But you got to remember, you're looking at that, and, you start thinking, okay, compared to the size of the animal, the distance looks smaller because that animal's so big. And I knew that was a long shot.
See, my thing, I was judging distance the whole day, and you guys had the rangefinder.
I did not use the rangefinder.
Donald did.
I will only say that one of the other guys was using it every now and then. And I mean, I did ask because this was not a tournament; it was a fun shoot, And, every now and then one of the guys would pop it out and I'd say, okay, it was about, 25, 20 or whatever. And, and they'd tell us what it was. Yeah. So it, I was trying to pick my distances and judge them and everything. And that's
he would always do it after I shot, too. That's
always the misconception. The biggest mistake most guys make in the field is judging distance. And it really played havoc with me. Like I said, on the elevated stand, I misjudged the shot that I missed. I shot right underneath it. That was a 25-yard shot. And I thought it was an easy 20-yard shot, or maybe 15, or well, between 15 and 20. I really missed that one. And then that first target that I shot at after the William Tell, that one I think was about a 25-yard shot. And I misjudged that one, too, and just skimmed the underside of it, just missed it. So, but that's where most guys miss their targets at. So, did you have fun with it, Jake?
Yeah, and I remember one of my other favorite ones where there was a group of boars in, Mexico.
The javelinas, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a giant buck in the office.
Yeah, it said buck fever was taking over and you're seeing bucks in your office.
Oh, yeah? That's cool.
And Michael was trying to miss to hit the actual computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see a computer behind it. I almost missed it.
Yeah, they had a lot of cool targets there. The theme's really cool. Just everything imaginable. Different situations.
Like the alligator.
They had an alligator. Yeah, they had an alligator target, which was really cool.
The one that Matt's been wanting.
Yeah, that thing's $250 up at one of the outdoor stores. We actually saw it. And that's that's a pretty nice little target there. But it was a good time. And then they had the fun shoots afterwards. Yeah. And you guys shot some of them. I didn't shoot any of them. What's some of the stuff you shot at?
And there was a milk jug thing.
There was a milk jug challenge that I shot at. There was a moving coyote that I shot at. It was like on a thing. The guy pulled the rope and it would go up, and then you let it go and it go down. You have to try to shoot it.
It'd come out from behind a wall, and it'd be in an open spot for
5 feet.
And then it'd be behind another wall, so you couldn't shoot it anymore.
And then
now, did you back up? Did you hit the coyote?
Yeah, I hit it, but I was aiming probably 4 inches in front of the vitals, and I was hitting right at the thigh.
Okay, but you hit it 3 out of 3 times.
Yeah.
But you shot it right in the rump.
Yeah.
But you still hit it, though.
Yeah.
And the milk jug was basically 2 milk jugs filled up in a string. And you just shoot through them.
Okay, so what was that all about? You got 2 milk jugs sitting, and it was on like a pulley system.
Yeah, like a teeter-totter.
It was 2 guys racing.
And
who could empty the jug first?
Yeah, and you both had to have an equal amount. And I think me and Donald shot it with both 3 arrows, and he missed all 3 times. And then I shot it twice, and I won.
Okay.
And I shot with Donald, and somehow...
Yeah, his arrow got stuck in the milk jug.
And it plugged the hose.
Yeah, well, basically, you're not pulling probably enough weight to really poundage on your bow to, push it through there. So. Yeah. And then there was another moving target that had the big deer moving target.
Oh, yeah, the 30-point buck moving target was set on like a little circle track.
Yeah. And
they go behind other targets. All I could see was horns sticking out above them. Mm-hmm. And there was like little fake trees in the way.
Okay. And then you shot at a moving clay target too, didn't you?
Yeah, I hit one of them. There was another guy shooting there he was a college archery team or something like that, and he was just picking them off. He got like a 2-for-1 in one shot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some. Oh, they had some, like a wall of tubes you had to shoot through.
Yeah.
It was called Pick a Spot, and you had to shoot a deer target behind. Basically, it was about 2 foot long, 1.5 to 2 foot long PVC tube, but there were stacks of them. I mean, it was just like a wall of them. You could see through them.
But they were all on angles.
And you had to shoot through them to pick your spot to hit the target behind.
And I gave a whack at it.
Yeah.
I shot it in the vitals, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. You made it through and you hit it. You shot through it twice, I think, didn't you? Yeah. And you actually got the deer. That was good.
I only hit it once and missed one.
Okay.
And then, depending on how good you did, they gave you a certain amount of tickets. I got 13 tickets.
Oh, it's for door prizes and drawing prizes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they had a whole room filled with stuff with little paper bags below them. Mm-hmm. And you go pick and put you can put your cards in them, figure out which one you want.
Yeah.
There was a hip quiver.
Uh-huh.
I think it was a $100 hip quiver.
Yeah. And
there was only 5 people that put them in there, so I put all 13 of mine in there.
Yeah.
So I think you have a pretty good chance of getting that.
And I entered for a rifle range scope.
A range spotting scope, yeah.
And I put in for a release quiver and a sight.
Oh, for your bow?
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I would have liked to, I didn't shoot any of the fun shoots, but the one that I probably would have, 2 that I would have shot would have been the moving coyote. I'd like to have shot that, but I don't know, I just didn't. and they had a 100-yard shot on a
100-yard bear.
on a grizzly bear, a standing grizzly bear. I really would have liked to have shot that, but I didn't. I mean, that's really throwing them out there.
And there's a guy he shot I don't know how small the circle was. About
it was like an inch circle, and he got it right in the middle of it.
Oh, the ring? Yeah, there's a ring.
And if
on
you got
shoot.
it, if you hit that, depending on how close you went, I think there's like a circle, like the vitals area, and if you hit the vitals, you get put in for a
drawing,
$50 cash. And there was only one guy that shot it Saturday.
That's cool.
So he's got a pretty good chance of winning it.
Well, one of the reasons I didn't shoot any of the fun shoots, I was down to one arrow by the end of the day. I took 3 arrows with me, and I actually somebody hit the side of one of mine and put a nice ding in the side of it, and so I didn't want to shoot that arrow. And then another one, a fletching of mine actually came loose, and I didn't want to shoot that, so I was down to one arrow.
And then Donald, he shattered an arrow.
Yeah, Donald shattered one arrow, but nobody lost any arrows, which
he
was
shot
good.
through a TV.
Not a real one.
Well, like the back was like vinyl or something.
It was a cardboard cutout on the back. It was
the
whole theme of
in
that
it.
was the best hunting show, TV hunting show, and they had a recliner there. Actually, you didn't sit in the recliner, but you stood up behind it and you shot. And the TV screen had actually been taken out, but they had like a little wildlife scene drawn on cardboard, and they had an actual skunk target sitting in the TV, and then you shot. Yeah, and then you had to shoot the skunk, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was a good day. That was a lot of fun, and spent a little bit of money there for good cause, and they raised some money there for the range and everything. And then
I forgot to pay.
Yeah, I forgot to pay when I went through, and I realized part of the way through, and I'm like, man, I got to go back up there. And they were really amazed that I came back and paid. And it's like, why is that so amazing that people go and do the right thing? I guess it's just the way society is nowadays, that people are always trying to con somebody out of something. But
kind of sad.
It is. It really is. It's sad when people are amazed that you do the right thing, And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but Jake brought it up, so I thought I'd mention it. But, yeah, do the right thing. And that goes when people aren't looking either, when you're out hunting, fishing, or whatever. I've always told you that. That's what the father of conservation, Leopold, said. Morality and ethics is doing the right thing even when somebody's not looking or watching. So, but yeah, that was a good fun day. We had a lot of fun there, and then after that we packed up and went back down to the Bass Pro Store, and we finished out our what is it called, the 2008 Fall Hunting Classic or something down there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But I went back down there from Mossy Oak, being part of their pro staff. I actually worked down there that evening, and man, was it slow. Last weekend was dead on Saturday and Sunday. I worked those 2 days. Went back again yesterday, and it was slow again. Actually, they sent us all home early because there was just nobody in the store.
Yeah, and they said they didn't do any seminars all day.
Well, before we go on, Michael, we need to take a quick break and get that out of the way. We'll come back and we'll wrap up Saturday and get on with the rest of the show. So let's step outside real quick, and we'll be right back after a quick message.
If you're looking for the best in outdoor hunting and fishing podcasts, look no further than the Outdoor Radio Network. Each week we have dozens of podcasts devoted to outdoor sports, with shows like On the Water with Bob Murray, Bass Champ Journal, Surf and Shore Fishing, just to name a few. Check out all outdoor podcasts on the OutdoorRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and let's get back to it. We're talking about, you mentioned something right before we went to break there. I had to cut you off, but you mentioned that there's no seminars.
Yeah.
That's what really bothered me about the whole deal down there. They promoted seminars for the whole weekend, both weekends, And when I was there wasn't one seminar.
Yeah.
That really bothered me. They didn't make any announcements over the PA that, hey,
they did the first Saturday, I think.
Did they? I didn't hear it.
I don't think they did.
But, yeah, there was a couple times that, guys went down there and there was nothing going on. And they canceled them. It's like, don't promote the stuff if you're not going to have it.
I hope that they don't do that for Cabela's. I have a good feeling that they're going to have all their seminars, for how big of a show it is.
Well, yeah, what he's talking about is this coming weekend is the 2008 Waterfowl Classic down at the Dundee, Michigan Cabela store, which is only an hour down the road for us. And actually, I'm hoping that being with Mossy Oak, I'm going to get to work that event. So that should be a good time down there. Even if I don't get to work it, we're going.
And I think Michael was hoping, one of the guys from Foyle's Migrator Calls would be down there.
Yeah, I know. He actually, you emailed one of those guys to see if they're going to be down there. I know Zink's going to be down there.
For that guy that emailed you?
Which one's that?
The one that said that he wanted to talk about goose calls or something?
Oh, yes. We did receive an email this last week about goose calls, or duck calls. And, for the life of me, I'm sorry I don't have it pulled up in front of me right now. I can't remember your name, but the guy was talking about the different calls and the pricing of calls, about the custom calls and all that, and he uses foils. And you actually emailed him today.
Yeah, about like a field test or something.
Doing a field test on their goose calls. So
I could compare it to a Zink or something.
Yeah, and actually you're getting a couple handmade custom calls made.
Yeah, I just ordered 2 more from Brian Stanley from Double Coyote. I ordered a short-rayed goose, acrylic black, I think. And then I got a double reed duck acrylic, that blue color that you got in your coyote.
Yeah, the one he just made a coyote call for me, and
it's like kind of like not aqua blue, but like little pieces of aqua with navy with sparkles.
Yeah, it's a really cool call. I'll take some pictures, put them up on the blog site or something, so everybody can see them on the actual website. Either one, but I bought 2 from him, and he had another prototype that he actually gave me out at the Jake's event a couple weeks back, Predator calls. And I took one of them and sent it out to my good buddy Bob Rich out there in Connecticut. So
you hit it.
I tucked it in with some other goodies in the box for him, and he knew I was sending him a sticker. We got our new stickers in, so I tucked one of them in, and you made some flies. And if you guys want to see pictures of those flies, you can get them off my blog site over at Hooks and Bullets. Make sure and go over there if you want to see some of those handmade flies that Michael made. Because what Bob did is he took a picture of them, laid them out real nice on a felt backer.
Like letters.
And, put little...
letter coated, and you can put the prices on them.
And then he took and put the contact information and picture of you on them and everything, and actually did a blog about it. Real nice over at Bob Rich Shooting Journal. So go over and check out his site. He's got a lot of cool stuff over there, too. But, he's really been into predator hunting. So I wanted to send him one of our good Michigan-made calls and see if they can fool some of those Connecticut coyotes.
Yeah.
So we're anxious to see what that happens with that. But where were we? Oh, you're talking about those calls you had commissioned from him. You're going to have him make for you. So he's hoping to get those by next weekend. Actually, Sunday he might meet us down at Cabela's and bring them.
Where can I get in that foils?
And getting the foils call. So the guy who wrote us, he's got the Zink call. He's got the one from Double Coyote, and if he can get one from Foils. Yeah. Do a little bit of field testing on those goose calls to see, which one you like the best.
Yeah. So far, I got the Zink right now, but that's the only one I have in hand.
Right. You don't have anything to compare it to, so.
Yeah.
Kind of see where that goes and what happens with that, so.
I think you can compare it to that quackhead what you got.
It's a polycarb.
Oh, a polycarb?
Yeah, I got 2 polycarbs.
Okay.
They aren't even in the same category.
Yeah, well, yeah, those are what they call
Factory injection.
Factory injected molded, so. When you get into the handmade custom calls, you can really tell the difference in
the quality and
the tones and
realism.
Exactly, just the sound of them. It just sounds so much better. But
I think some guy from Zink said the factory injected or sound like a call, and the handmade sound like the actual.
Yeah, they're
that's Brian that said that.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy from Double Coyote talking about different calls. He said there's the calls that sound like duck and goose calls, and there's the ones that sound like goose and duck.
And he goes, mine are the ones that sound like real.
Yeah, it sound like a goose and a duck. So, that's something I've really never paid a whole lot of attention to because I'm not into duck hunting like you are and waterfowl hunting. But since you've picked up that Zink call, and especially with the Predator call, since I picked up those from him, it's just the difference in night and day of what you get from a regular factory injected mold type call versus a handmade custom handmade call. It's just a difference of night and day. So, and I don't want to put down the ones that you buy in the store, but like I say, you do get what you pay for. You put a little more into it, you're going to get something that's a little bit better. So, but we're going to do the Waterfowl Classic this weekend, like we were talking about down at Cabela's. We're going to be hanging out down there, and Michael, you're going to do the seminar circuit, huh?
And blow some cash.
Well, he thinks he's going to blow some cash. I'm going to have to rein him in again.
Nah, I'm not going to spend that much.
But
I might.
He'll have a little money to spend. It's his birthday.
Yeah.
It'll be the big 14 next Sunday, so he 14 going on 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to go to the seminars, and actually I'm trying to con him into taking the recorder and doing some interviews down there.
Yeah.
The vendors.
Turn them loose for the first time behind the microphone, and don't know if we're going to get anything out of that just yet, but if I can con him into it.
There's one that if I do take it down, there's someone I want to try to interview. It's Field Huddle from Zinc Calls, world champion goose caller.
Okay. You got some questions for him, or what?
Yeah, just basic stuff.
Okay. That'd be cool. Yeah, I get to interview a world
'cause
champion goose caller. That'd be cool for the podcast.
Well, see, last year we went down there.
Right.
I met Fred Zink, and I'm like, okay, who's this guy? And then this year I buy 2 of his calls.
Yep.
Meet the call maker and then buy his calls.
Well, that's cool. And that's what it's all about, going to these shows. You can, you can talk to them afterwards or even before the seminars, but then when they put the seminars on, you can learn right from them firsthand. I didn't actually sit into the seminars last year. I was inside doing the shopping while you were running around. And this year, like I said, I might actually be working. So we just have to kind of wait and see how all that plays out. But either way, we'll be down there. So that's what we
videotape it for you.
That's what we got coming up next week. But we talked about the stuff we did on Saturday, so let's get into what we did on Sunday now. Now, actually, let me back up just a little bit. When we were at that fun shoot yesterday, we saw one of the local pro shops that sells bows here in town. Actually, a shop that I have not been to yet. They were there set up, and I talked with them a little bit about the deal about me getting a new bow and wanting to shoot one. And they actually had a couple that I wanted to try out. So this morning, got up early, went over there, ordered spot shooters in Holly, Michigan, and we went over and talked to them a little bit. We got a PSC SS they set up for me. Actually, I shot that one up at Bay Archery and did not like the way that it shot. So I wanted to shoot it again because I'd actually talked to the rep last week. I talked to Paul Penix when we were down at Bass Pro working. And, he said there had to be something wrong with that bow. It just wasn't set up just right or something or other. May have been a little bit of timing issue or something. He's like, go shoot that bow again. He said, spot shooter, they're right there near you. Go over there and check it out, because he knew I hadn't been in there yet. So he wanted me to go over there and, meet the guys and check stuff out. So I got over there this morning, told them the situation that I had, and they said, yeah, it might have been a timing issue. He said, let me set one. We got one here in the shop. Let's set it up and let you shoot it. Well, when I shot that bow, it was a difference in night and day. When I shot it up there at the other place, last week we talked about how it kicked up and it rolled up on me from the bottom up. It was a real violent kicking motion coming up on me instead of that bow rolling off forward like it should. And so when I shot it over there, it did just a little bit, but it wasn't nowhere near as bad.
Like maybe like an inch or two.
Yeah, it had a little bit of flutter where it came up. It wasn't bad at all.
Well,
and
they put a stabilizer on it, and it
just settled it.
Dead.
Yep, settled right down. Put a stabilizer on it, no problem at all. So that gave me some confidence back into shooting the PSC bows, because I was really worried about that, because that's kind of the line that I was going. I wanted to, look at the Mossy Oak X, and we actually got to shoot that one finally last week, and it was, it settled down too. It was no problem with that when I shot it down at Bass Pro. So, it's renewed my faith in getting out and shooting some of these newer bows. Because I was really disappointed when the ones that I shot up there. It kind of turned me sour as to what to expect out of them. Like, man, everybody's bragging these up, and man, they're all kicking out on the bottom real violent. So what I think happened is they just weren't tuned properly. They were probably right off the shelf, and
they've been bumped around or something.
Exactly. So who knows? But I'm glad to find out now, because it's like I said, it's renewed my faith in the PSE line, and I've really been looking at either the SS or the Mossy Oak X. So Still haven't made a decision yet as to which one I'm going to look at. So I've got my bow sold, and I'm going to work out a deal with that. And I know there's a guy out there that's going to give me a ton of grief over this. And I haven't personally talked to him, but he hangs out with the guys over there at Bowcast. Jason Amaro, he sent me an email maybe last week. Don't sell out, you know. And I'm not ragging on you, buddy. I appreciate all the information you've given me. But I shot those bows. Like I said, I shot that Mossy Oak X last week, and I was pleasantly surprised with that. And for what I can get out of my bow and get into a new bow, it's almost a break even for me. And it's not that I don't want to shoot the white. Believe me, it's treated me fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and make the move, I think, and step up into a new bow. And if I don't like it, you know, then next year I'll get something else. That's the beauty of this whole deal. Is, you know, you try something out, and if you don't like it, you sell it and you buy something else. So it'll give me something to compare and contrast, you know. We'll talk about it on the show, and if I don't like it, then we'll talk about it, and if I like it, we'll talk about it. Either way, we're going to talk about it. So, but no, Jason and Anthony and Neil over there at Bowcast, a lot of good information over there. I've learned a lot from those, just listening to those guys.
They all shoot Hoyts, don't they?
I think so.
I think Jason's shooting a Parker right now.
You know, I'm not really sure. And I got to apologize because for the last month and a half, I haven't listened to them religiously like I used to. It's just because I've had so much on my plate and things have been so crazy here. So I'm backed up about 5 or 6 episodes. And I want to get over and check out what they're doing here lately. So, but no, I know he's going to give me grief about that for switching. But you know what? It's going to a good guy. It's a guy here on pro staff with us here at Up North Journal. He's buying my bow. And he's actually switching from a PSE to a Hoyt, and I'm switching from a Hoyt to a PSE. Yeah. So, you know, I guess it's an even trade-off there. But it's going into a good shooter's hand, and it's going to, quote-unquote, stay in the family, so to speak. So, really excited about that. But, you know, you shoot a Bowtech.
Yeah.
Kids shoot a Browning. We've got a Parker that's going to, actually, the guy who's buying my Hoyt's got a Parker for his kid.
And Maddie's shooting my little PSC Outlaw. Yeah,
we got 2 PSCs here, and my youngest daughter is shooting the PSC Outlaw. So
we got bows everywhere.
Yeah, you know, so we've got kind of like we're like a Baskin Robbins of bows here. We got the 31 flavors, you know.
Shop.
Yeah, kind of a mini bow shop, but you know, I guess the more that we get to shoot and the different ones we get to shoot, the more we get to talk about them. So I'm looking forward to it. It's just. I just wish that we had a little more choice with the Mossy Oak line. And that's what really disappoints me about some of these bow companies is that they only offer, you know, one camo pattern, you know, one manufacturer's camo pattern. And I know they do contract obligations with these guys, but, you know, there's some of these bow companies that they'll offer, the 2 major lines of them, or they'll offer 3, you know. You get the APG, or you get the Mossy Oak, and then, you know, the different Realtree lines, and, you know, there's just a different variety. You know, I think Bowtech offers 5 different camo patterns on their bows, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, it's just something I'm going to have to go through this year and grow with it and figure out exactly where I'm at with things. And, you know, it's going to be a learning experience for me. And since we started this here at the Up North Journal, you know, we've kind of got our feet wet into the industry, so to speak, of archery, shooting, hunting, fishing, everything, you know, and we're learning a lot. And, you know, it's some growing pains with that. And you guys are going to learn along that with us, too. So, you know, that's the beauty of it. As we learn about it, we'll just pass it along to the listeners.
Bad part about learning is we have to sacrifice one thing to do another thing.
Sometimes you do, you know, and I've learned that, too. I've had a couple opportunities that have come my way that I'm not really sure that I'm going to take, just because there's so much on the plate, and it's what I'd have to give up to do it, and I'm not ready to do that just yet. So, you know, there's give and take with anything. So, you know, like I said, we've learned a lot this year, especially this summer. There's been so much happened here for us, and you know, like I said, we're just growing by leaps and bounds, and you know, people are contacting us about some stuff, and you know, you can't take everything that comes your way. You really can't do that. If you did, you'd just be so overwhelmed you wouldn't have time to hunt and fish.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about. I could do it all, but then I wouldn't be able to get out in the field, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give that part of it up. So, but man, we got off topic once
just
again.
Like we did the first segment.
Yeah. But it's all good. It's all fun. So, but we got over and I went over and shot that bow this morning, and I was surprised. I guess I wasn't surprised. I guess my faith was renewed, in the fact that it does shoot good, and like everybody said it did.
Something I noticed over there at Spot Shooters?
What's that?
They only sell Hoyts, PSEs, and Martins.
Oh, yeah?
That's the only things they sell.
I thought they had some Bowtechs.
Nope.
I thought they had a Bowtech thing in their window.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's another shop. I don't know. Like I said, we've been to so many different places here in the past 2 weeks.
Maybe you're just seeing things.
I'm seeing a lot of stuff lately.
So am I.
So, hey, well, listen, let's take another quick break. We'll get our last break out of the way. We'll come back, and we'll talk about the rest of our Sunday and a couple of little things and wrap up the show. So let's step outside real quick, and we'll be right back after this message.
If you're looking for the best in outdoor hunting and fishing podcasts, look no further than the Outdoor Radio Network. Each week we have dozens of podcasts devoted to outdoor sports, with shows like On the Water with Bob Murray, Bass Champ Journal, Surf and Shore Fishing, just to name a few. Check out all outdoor podcasts on the OutdoorRadioNetwork.com.
Welcome back, everybody. And Jacob has left the building. He says, I'm tired and I'm out of here. It's a late night for him. I guess he's going to go hit the sack. So, but get back on Sunday. Get back on track where we're at. Seeing how we got so doggone off topic last segment. After we got done shooting the bows today, we kind of messed around here and did a few other little odd and end things. But we wanted to wrap up our actual youth bow review. And we pretty much completed that today. The only thing we had left to do was really shoot the Parker Buckshot. And the guy, like I said, the guy who's buying my Hoyt, Tim, his boy, has been shooting that bow, and nobody else has really had an opportunity to shoot it. Well, actually, my buddy Kevin, his daughter, had it first. So it was Jake and Mackenzie, my son and daughter. They hadn't run it through its paces yet. So I snagged that bow back from them this week, and today we got out and got the chronograph out and got the kids out and let them do some shooting. So. But we come up with some interesting numbers when we're putting them on the chronograph. Some things that really kind of surprised me. I don't have all the numbers from all of our other tests here with me, but we talked about them on the show previously. But what we come up with today with the Parker was, just kind of give you a rundown of it. The limb package we got on this bow goes from 20 to 30 pounds. And that's actually the smallest bow that we've got poundage-wise. So it was kind of hard to compare and contrast them to the other bows that we had in our line. Like I said, we had the Matthews Genesis. That was a constant draw bow. And it's really hard to compare that one to this one. I mean, you can get the poundage the same, but to get the draw lengths the same and everything like that, it's just not a fair comparison test. So we kind of did the same thing we did with the other bows, except we couldn't bring it up to the same pound weight to test and compare against. But what we did is we put it to its maximum draw length, which is 28 inches, and it goes all the way down to 18 inches, excuse me. So it's got 11 inches of adjustability in it. And what I really liked about this bow compared to the others, I mean, it has the module system, just like the other youth bows.
Like the Brownings?
Like the Brownings and the Diamond that we shot, the Edge. But with this one, there's one screw in each cam to slide the module. And on the module, it's got the number of inches of draw that you want to put it to. Like if you want to set it to 21 inches, you put it in the hole that's marked 21, and you screw it down. And there's one screw in each end. And I changed that thing 3 times a day, and each time was less than a minute. I mean, it was just lightning fast. You undo the screw, you slide it, you put it back in the hole, and screw it back down. It's that simple. And like I said, we put it to the full draw, 28 inches of draw, and I put it at the max poundage, which was 30 pounds. And we run it through the chronograph. And I tell you what, that little bow, for such a small bow, packs some punch. I was really surprised. At 30 pounds at 28 inches of draw, that thing averaged 197.2 feet per second. Now, for a small 30-pound bow, that's smoking. And at 25 pounds on a 28-inch draw, it dropped down to 179.2, so almost 180 pounds. 180 feet per second.
I don't think anyone can drop like that much.
But then we dropped it down to its minimum of 20 pounds at 28 inches draw, and it averaged out at 161.9 feet per second. So it's dropping roughly 20 pounds for each 5 pounds of weight droppage. But the thing that really caught my eye, what we did with the other bows is we put them to the draw length that the shooter is going to use in the field and set them at 35 pounds. That's how we come up with that, what we call our ethical pound that we're going to use for the kids in the field this year of a minimum. And we've actually got 2 new hunters in the field this year that are going to shoot, and that's what we set for our kids is 35 pounds. Well, this buckshot would not go to 35 pounds. And this is where it gets interesting. You've got this preconceived idea in your head of what you think you need to do to get your kid into the field. This is where we start playing with some numbers here. Okay, so I couldn't do anything with, like I said, I couldn't get it to 35. So I set it to its max of 30 pounds. Jacob shoots the Browning Adrenaline, 19 inches of draw at 34 pounds. That's what he's at right now. Okay. Now, I set the buckshot today at 19 inches of draw, equal draw length, and I put it at the full 30-pound draw. It shot 133.8 feet per second at 19 inches of draw. Okay. He's 1 pound off of what we're going to let him into the field with next year. Okay. Same draw, 4 pounds more, and it's shooting 122.5. It's shooting 11 feet per second less than the smaller bow.
With more poundage.
Yeah.
Same draw length.
Same draw length. Both bows set the exact same draw length. Same arrows. Shooting through the chronograph. The Parker Buckshot at 30 pounds shoots fast, 11 feet per second faster than the Browning Adrenaline at 34 pounds. And we're going to let him into the field with 35 pounds. So, you start thinking of these pound ratings. Okay, we're going to get the kids to this pound weight, and we're going to turn them loose.
Then you start thinking about speed.
Well, yeah,
After this.
It was eye-opening. It really was. Matter of fact, when Jake shot that bow today, when I first set it up on him and let him turn him loose at his draw length at 30 pounds, he's like, "Wow, Dad, this bow's faster than mine." And the first thing I said was like, yeah, whatever. I said, nah, it can't be. He's like, "No, Dad, this bow's faster." He said, "It's shooting faster." And I'm like, well, maybe it is. Let's see. Shot him through the chronograph, and I'd be doggone if it wasn't shooting 11 feet per second faster. Now, can you really tell 11 feet per second? I don't know.
Maybe the shooter can.
Maybe the shooter can. Maybe he can. I don't know. But that was the first thing out of his mouth. The very first shot, he goes, "This bow shoots faster, Dad." And I was amazed. I mean, it really did. So,
10 feet per second is not that much, but...
Well, what I'd like to see, and I don't have the numbers here with me. My buddy Kevin, who's on pro staff here with us, he's got all the numbers. So, Kevin, I know you're listening to this on Monday morning. I need those numbers emailed to me. I want when you get home later tonight, and we'll talk about this maybe on next week's show, of how the other bows comparatively shot speed-wise. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the edge at full draw at 40 pounds is shooting up in the 220s. So it's only about 20 pounds off. And we're talking 10 pounds difference. But now the one thing that Jacob did say to me, he said, "Dad," he said, "man, this bow's got some aggressive cams." And I looked at him like, well, yeah, it really does. They're radical, because he had a little harder time pulling back on that 30-pound bow than he did the 34-pound bow that he's using now. So
Both dual cam?
Both of them are dual cam. Yes, they are. Yep, they're both dual cam. So it's the aggressiveness of the cams. That's the only thing I can attribute it to, really. So, I mean, maybe I'm on the wrong track here, and if anybody out there who's listening knows and point me in the right direction, because I am myself a no bow expert. I have learned a lot about bows here in the last 6 months. You know, I mean,
be a good question for Jason.
Yeah. If Jason, if you're listening, you know, kind of point us in the right direction on this, or Anthony or Neil out there at Bowcast. You know, because what's happened with me? I mean, I've been a bow hunter for the last 35 years. Okay, I mean, I started when I was a kid, and this year I've started turning into more of an archer. You know, I've started learning the intricacies of the bows. You know, how the different things play together to change different things. You know, I'm trying to learn more about them, and I'm trying to study that. You know, and trying to get more knowledge on it so I can make better choices and figure out what to do to make the bow do certain things. So, but I am in nowhere near being an expert on them yet. I'm still learning. So, but it's very eye-opening. You know, especially with these kids' bows that we've been testing. And, you know, we can take some of that knowledge and apply it to our adult bows that we're using, you know, and figuring out what we need to do there. So, very interesting. Now, did you shoot that buckshot when we first got it?
I shot it once or twice at Mindy's specs, I think.
Yeah, well, obviously it's going to be 30 pounds. It's going to be a breeze for you to pull back.
Yeah.
But was there anything that really caught your eye or drew attention to?
No,
it was a kid's bow.
I'm shooting a Bowtech.
Yeah, it was a kid's bow. But, you know, for a little bow like that, I thought
it was fast.
I was really surprised at the speeds that thing put out. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that once Paul gets that into the field next year, because he won't actually be hunting this year. Hopefully next year he'll be out with it. So, other than that, that's kind of what we did with that. I did shoot the Hoyt today. I put it on the chronograph, and I think I was shooting 245-ish. Yeah, between 240 and 245 with mine. So, really, anything that I get new is going to be, you know...
around the same.
No. Actually, when I shot the Bowtech General at my specs, it chronoed at 270. Yeah, so it picked up 30 feet per second. And the guys at the shop today, we didn't actually put that on the chrono, but...
because of the lighting issue.
They said we could probably get upwards of near 300 on some of those. So, you know, it's going to be a step up as far as speed goes, and I am in nowhere near being a speed junkie. You know, I know a lot of these guys, they're really into the speeds and getting them up. But, you know, I'm in Michigan. I'm shooting 20 yards, 30 yards max maybe. And
you guys out west are the ones that need to worry about speed.
Well, yeah, you know, they're shooting long distances, so they're slinging arrows a lot further. They've got more opportunity to shoot game at long distance.
People out here are killing them with recurves and stuff.
Yeah, well, everything here is, you know, we're hunting woods. Tree stands, it's up close and personal, and, you know, I just, I don't know. I'm just not into that at this point in time. So, you know, my mind might change later on. But right now, just looking for a new bow.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, that was Sunday. I mean, that's what we did today. We want to kind of wrap that up, and we're going to take and put all of our numbers together, and we're going to put them on the blog site so you can actually look at them instead of me reading them to you. Yeah, compare them. And hopefully you guys can make some educated decisions on what to do. And if you really would like to hear the sales pitch on all these bows, then you need to go to our website and look at our video section. On the right-hand side, it's Up North Journal Videos. And click on there. We've got 7 different video interviews with the factory reps on each of these bows. So go over and check them out. Listen to what they got to say about them. And, you know, it might help you make a more informed decision of what to do for your child when you get him out in the field. So I know that one guy has listened, has already taken his kid and purchased a bow. So that's good. One of Kevin's buddies actually went and bought, I think he bought the Parker Sidekick, which we did not field test. We did the Buckshot. So, but yeah, they, you know, he went over and he checked everything out and listened to it and made an informed decision, hopefully. So, but that's it for the weekend.
Yeah.
You want to take over for the game bag now?
Okay, and now the best part of the show, Mikey's Game Bag. Alright, well, this week on Mikey's Game Bag, we kind of already talked about the topics that I already wanted to do.
Oh, about the duck that you burnt?
Yeah, the duck that I burnt in the call.
Okay. Well, but you got something that you got tucked back here that you want to throw at him. Okay.
Kind of like a backup plan.
Okay.
I was going to talk about some flies that I've recently been tying, that I've been having some luck on. And I want to talk about my overall success fly fishing this year.
Okay.
For the first year.
Okay.
Some of the little flies that I've been tying, I have been tying some little bees. They're
actually, when you open that case up and I was looking at your flies, I go, man, them look like bees. And you go,
yeah.
That's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah. It's like little pipe cleaners, chenille. And actually it's black and white threaded together.
Okay.
That's one piece, not two.
Okay.
And what it is, I took that and I put it on a small hook, a size 12 I think that is, or size 10. Put a little tail on it with some chicken feathers, some hackle. And then I wrapped that so it looks like a bee with the tail. And then I took some of them turkey feathers, not the ones that Tim gave me, but some old ones that I had.
Uh-huh.
And I, actually, no, that's duck.
That's a duck feather?
Yeah, it's duck feather. And I made little wings on it, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, they do. They look just like a little bumblebee.
Yeah, the hook's a stinger.
Yeah, I bet, yeah. Especially for the fish.
Yeah. One of my secret weapons that I had a lot of luck on this summer, up in the little shallows, it's a little beadhead fly. It's got a fluffy little marabou tail on the back, size 10, with a green threaded body, I think. That's chartreuse. And I put hackle on it, so like it looks like legs coming out of it and stuff. And it has a bead head on it, so it will sink.
Okay, so that when you actually fish under the water.
Yeah, fish under the water. And I've been having lots of
fly.
luck with that, with a little brass head on it.
Okay.
And then one of the last ones that I actually tied and I used last time at the mill pond is called the Sparkle Grub.
Okay.
It's chenille, but it's like, it looks kind of like that party stuff. What is that, like party tinsel?
Oh, it's a tinsel
Yeah.
mylar.
Yeah.
It has like a mylar look to it.
Yeah, and it's like the chenille, but it's like all over the place.
Right.
And it's really sparkly.
So it gives you some flash while it's in the water. Yeah. Okay.
And then it's got a marabou tail with lots of crystal flash in the tail. The whole thing looks like a glitter bug.
Okay.
And it's weighted on the fly. I put some lead wire underneath of it. So this one's fishing under the water too.
Okay.
And then really nothing else I've tied that much. I get a whole bunch of stuff that I tied in the winter that I haven't really used.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one that I had that actually Mr. Walker taught me how to make.
Oh, the guy up at the Turkey Federation.
Yeah.
The Jake's event. The guy who actually taught you how to tie flies.
Yeah. He never really gave it a name, but he said he's been having lots of luck on it. It's size 10, I think a 2X hook, so it's a long shank hook. It's got a brown marabou tail on it. It's got sparkly red dubbing on it for the body. And it's got a hackle head on it. So this thing looks really cool under the water. Like, I fished at the mill pond and I was getting it. I was casting it up underneath of a pine tree, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of underneath a bridge, pine tree next to it. And as soon as it would hit the sun, they'd just tear it apart. Actually, I got one on my rod right now.
So how'd your first summer of fly fishing go?
Actually, it went pretty good. I only went out like 2 or 3 times, but overall I probably caught 40 panfish.
Okay.
Overall. On all the flies that I made.
That's cool. That's even better when you tie your own stuff and you go out and you catch it.
Yeah. I caught a lot of them on foam poppers.
Okay.
And then a lot on that secret fly I have.
A little secret weapon you got stashed back.
I call it secret weapon, but I haven't had a name for it yet. I have to come up with a name. I don't know.
Now, you went out fishing last week, didn't you? Was it a couple buddies of yours from school?
Yeah. My twin buddies, I went out with them. That's the one we went to the mill pond, and I was catching them underneath the bridge. Actually, I took my fly rod out, and his mom's like, like, what's the point of that?
Well, didn't they give you some kind of challenge before you even went? They said,
yeah, they're like, oh, let's go fishing. I'm like, okay, and they're like, hey, you should bring your fly rod. I want to see you try to fish that. And I'm like, see me try to fish it. Watch me catch fish more than you can. I ended up out fishing them.
So they didn't think you knew how to use one? Is
Yeah.
that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was casting. Their mom looks around. She's like, "That looks pointless." She looks like she goes, "Looks like there's more work than actually fishing." I'm like, "Well, once you get it out there, you just pull on it a little bit." And they're bobber fishing and stuff.
And you caught more fish than they did all put together?
Yeah, I think so.
Sounds like you had a good time
Yeah.
showing them up anyway. So
Yeah. But something was weird at the mill pond. There was a whole bunch of ducks and ducklings. Every time they throw a bobber out, they chase the bobber.
they
Like
probably
the
thought they were
ducklings?
throwing. Yeah, probably thought they were throwing some kind of.
Yeah,
food
and they
or
would go out
something.
and bite the bobber, so they had to reel it in so they wouldn't bite it. And one of them kept messing with them. They kept dropping the bobber, and they just go back and forth to it.
Yeah, just tell that little duckling, say, "I'll see you in October."
Yeah. But actually, I got sick and tired of bank fishing. I had shorts on with Crocs. I walked out, and I was like chest deep in water. Their mom wasn't that mad, though,
Yeah.
even though I got her van all wet.
Yeah, I bet. That'd make you sit on some plastic coming back, I tell you.
Yeah,
So is that it for Game Bag?
yeah.
All right. Hey, well, you was talking about ducks, and we've talked about the goose calls and duck
And
calls.
the burnt duck.
And the burnt duck. Well, staying with the duck and the goose theme, here in Michigan, we're fixing to get our regulations for the year. And hopefully, they said they're going to be out here. Well, they got to be out here before September 1st. They've kind of tentatively set all the dates already and all the bag limits and everything. And what it looks like is the early goose season is going to open up again September 1st and run through the 10th. But they're going to increase the bag limits this year to 5 total.
On the geese in the early season?
On the geese in the early season. Last year, I believe it was 3. And the one other major thing that they're going to do this year is canvasbacks are off limits.
Yeah, from the harsh winter.
Yeah, there's a closed season here in Michigan on canvasbacks. So
The whole season?
yes, the whole season. And
Wow.
and they're going up from 2 to 3 on wood ducks. So that's pretty much the consensus so far. It hasn't been put down in stone just yet, but they're expecting that here in the next week or so to get all the regs and everything out and get it published. So we're anxiously awaiting that to be published for us. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. A couple other things that are coming up here. I got a couple local events for you guys that are in the area here that are coming up here in September that I want to run by you real quick. The first one is the Woods and Water event that's put on over in Imlay City. That'll actually be held over at the Eastern Michigan Fairgrounds. And that's probably 40 miles east of Flint if you just take the Freeway 69 out from Flint to the east there. And that's just a big, huge outdoor event. It's got vendors. It's got people who do charter fishing, people who book hunts, all kinds of different things there. Anything to do with hunting and fishing,
It's there.
it's there. It's a big outdoor event. Somebody told me they run anywhere from 10 to 15,000 people through that event in 3 days. It starts on Friday, September 5th, and runs through Sunday, September 7th. So you can check it on the web there if you want the times and everything. I'm not sure exactly what the price is to get in, but we're actually going to be working that event. I'll be out there Saturday. The morning, I'll either be working for Mossy Oak or I'll be helping Chuck Parr, who's a pro staffer here with us.
I'm going to be helping him out all
Yeah,
day.
you're going to be helping him Friday and Saturday at the Delta booth for Delta Waterfowl. They're going to have a big membership drive, getting guys interested and fired up for duck season, trying to get that chapter off the ground and moving. And then later in the day from 2 to 7, I'll be working our NWTF booth for our local Flint River chapter.
Actually, I think Chuck's trying to talk me into doing a calling clinic.
And yeah, he did mention that today. So, yeah, you might be over there teaching some kids how to call. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Hey, well, you got to start them somewhere,
Yeah.
And who better to teach a kid than a young hunter who's been through it and knows what he's doing. Don't tell me you don't know what you're doing. You want to call.
Yeah.
Didn't win a calling contest, but you came in second. So
2 points.
So I think you know a little bit about it. They'll be in good hands if you do. So
Yeah.
another event coming up here locally in the Flint, Michigan area is the second annual Sportsman's Classic, and that's at the Lake Fenton Sportsman's Club. And that event's going to be held on September 13th from 9 to 4. And what it is, it's a fundraiser for a local church here in the area called the Freedom Center. And the registration starts at 8 o'clock that morning. You can pre-buy your ticket in advance for $15, or you can buy it at the door for $20. And what you get with that, you get a wild game lunch. They give away door prizes. They've got a 3D archery shoot that you can partake in with that price. sporting clays, and the handgun range are open. The only thing that they do not include is your ammo. You have to bring your own ammo.
Yeah,
or buy it from them. You have to bring your own bow and arrows for the archery shoot. So.
What about for guns, like shotguns?
Stuff? I'm not really sure on that. If they got guns there for you to shoot or not, I'm not sure.
Are we going to be going to that probably?
I'm hoping to. That's the same weekend as the Jake's event for the Shiawassee County NWTF chapter. They're having a fun shoot that Saturday. Actually, it's in Genesee County in Clio. One of the members is holding his archery range over there. So,
I thought you were going to say at his house.
No, well, no, it's at his place up there. But yeah, so I have my first official conflict with dates of which event do I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of the guys from the archery range are going to go up to that event for the NWTF and help support the Jake's program. But I also know Chuck wants us to help him out with the Delta Waterfowl chapter. So
flip a coin. I can always go to the Delta thing.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just going to play it by ear right now and see what happens. Either way, I'm going to get somebody mad at me.
Yeah, we can split up if we have to.
We'll do something one way or another. So, but those are a couple local events here for you guys who are in this area. If you live in the Michigan or northern Ohio area, don't forget next weekend is the Waterfowl Classic at the Dundee Cabela store in Dundee, Michigan. I guess Indiana would be included in that area also. So if you guys are interested in that, come out and hang out up there for the day. It's supposed to be a lot of good stuff Saturday and Sunday. We'll be down there Sunday.
You know, all these events in Michigan are kind of like NASCAR races down south.
What's that?
With all the people that come to them.
Well, people love their hunting and fishing,
Yeah,
it's kind of the same way.
NASCAR down south.
So it's they're a lot of fun, though. You get to seminars and you get to meet some of the better-known people who do those kind of things, so that's cool.
Kind of like Greg from your thing said whenever they hear his name, they come going for the other Greg Miller.
Yeah.
They show up and they're like, who's this guy?
Our Michigan manager for the regional pro staffers for Mossy Oak, his name's Greg Miller. And he says, but I'm not the Greg Miller, the one that's always everybody's expecting to see. So, but speaking of Cabela's and Mossy Oak, in November we're having a Mossy Oak event at Cabela's, and during that weekend, I don't know if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday. They're kind of tapping me to host a seminar down there for how to videotape your own hunt. So,
hopefully you'll show up.
I'll show up. I won't be like those guys down there at Bass Pro. I will show up for mine, unless something major comes up that I can't make it. But, we're hoping to do that if everything works out. So I'm looking forward to that. But, that's about all I got for this week. I don't know. It's kind of a slow week.
Yeah.
We ramped it up here on the weekend and got a few things done.
Lots of work. Yeah,
it was a busy week, and we got another busy week coming up. I got some things scheduled at work that's going to be kind of pressing, but I'm hoping, keep my fingers crossed, Friday we're going to get out and do some deer scouting after I get out. I'm going to get out of work early that day. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get out and put some time in the field. And
we're at the place with Matt?
Yep. I'm not sure which one we're going to just yet, but we're going to get out and look for some deer. Hopefully get set up for season and get ready for that. Looking forward to that. And then, like I said, maybe we'll get down to, well, there won't be any maybe. We're going to get down to Cabela's on Sunday.
Yes.
Hang out down there for your birthday and do that kind of stuff. So, but beyond that, I don't know what the rest of the week's going to hold. We're just going to play it by ear and see. I know we got some work to wrap up, but
Monday and Tuesday, hopefully, just them two.
But before we go, before we sign off this week, I do want to kind of give everybody a heads up. Next week we will have a show. We'll finish that event up down there at Cabela's. Come back. We'll cut a show that night. It might be a little late getting on the net, but after that, we're going on vacation. We're going to head north, and we're going to put some time in on the water, hopefully do some fishing. I'm hoping to get my wife out on the boat and actually get her fishing for the first time. That's going to be an event. If it is, believe me, you guys are going to hear about that. And also, we'll be up for the opening day of goose season. And we're going to be able to hunt that morning, and we'll have to pack up, turn around, come home. So it's going to be, just a getaway for the week and hopefully do some fishing and hunting. See how it all goes. But my goal is to write on the blogs every day. I don't know if I will or if I'll be able to. And that's the biggest thing. And I'm hoping to have a podcast ready also that week. coming back Labor Day weekend. It might be on the net Monday night. It might be on the net Tuesday morning. I really don't know yet. It just depends on what kind of internet access we have up north and what we can do. So if you don't see us week after next, don't panic. We haven't gone anywhere. It's just we're out playing in the woods and on the water. So, but with that being as always, yep, always out trying to do something. And one last thing I want to pass along before we leave. We've talked about the blog site we write for, Hooks and Bullets. I wrote an interesting article last night, and for you guys that all listen, go over and check it out. And I'm going to go ahead and post the question now to you. But the title of it is McCain or Obama. And it's not who to vote for. But it's a question posed that I actually read on another blog site. And I kind of played with it a little bit differently and took it a couple different ways. But basically what it is, if you had the opportunity to take either John McCain or Barack Obama hunting or fishing with you, which one would you take and why? So I want to know, guys. Go over to the blog site and look over the story there and read it and post your comments, because I seen a couple guys have already posted on it and who they would take. So, and I actually give my reasons of who I would take and why. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And then the last part of the question is, if you had the opportunity to go back in history and take a person with you hunting or fishing, somebody other than a family member who you've already lost, who would it be and why?
So it doesn't have to be a president?
No, it doesn't have to be a president. Just somebody in history.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, I actually picked two.
Okay.
The first one would be Fred Bear, and the second one would be Daniel Boone.
Yeah.
And I give my reasons there, so go over and check it out and read it. And I want to hear you guys. Go over there and post on that and let me know what you think. I just thought it was a really interesting question that the other blogger wrote about McCain and Obama as to why you would take them, who you would take and why. And like
Who did he pick?
Actually, I don't even really remember. I just kind of saw it and I kind of ran with it. So people are picking both. What are you laughing at?
I don't know. It just sounds kind of funny.
Well, who would you take?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'll post it next time.
Okay, we'll go over and read it and think about it and post on it. And that way you guys can see what Mikey puts over there.
Okay.
Check it out. It's an interesting little question, you know. It makes you think a little bit. You know, why would you take them? Would you take them both? Would you take one or the other? And if so, why? So just think about that. But other than that, one person you don't want to take is Dick Cheney hunting. If you do, make sure you're standing behind him. So that's all I got this week. You got anything else?
No.
All right. Well, we're going to leave on that note, guys. And like I say, next week we'll be coming back from Cabela's, celebrating Mikey's 14th birthday is next Sunday. So he's turned the big 14. And
hopefully I'll have a cart full of stuff.
Yeah, hopefully you won't.
That's on sale.
It's going to cost me a boatload of money. But no, it's all good. So happy birthday a week early. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here this week. See what we can get into next week, and we'll talk at you then. And as always, if you're out on the water or in the woods, remember, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.